Well, Chief, can you come up
No,
and answer
you
that?
gave me numbers, Butch. You gave me numbers, you did not.
Dennis, I gave you a
Who you
6-month report in June of every single call for service that we responded to in the village of Maywood.
I don't have times.
It was directly off my
times.
It was directly off of my computer system downstairs that I can print up and hand to you. I can go down and give it
Butch,
to
you
you
have
right
the
now.
exact times, and how much time was spent in my village? And what was done?
This has never been done before. Just like the library isn't straightened out and the youth program isn't straightened out. I can tell you the calls for service that we've responded to. I broke it down. I've given you everything that this police department can produce within its capabilities.
Why did the town respond? Did we ask for backup? I have 2 cars on most of the time.
And every single call is different. I can tell you what I am told from the county, and I can tell you what my officers do. I'm going to tell you, Dennis, and I'll tell Steve the same thing. If your village cars are responding to calls in the town, you had a problem. Because your guys don't have the authority to be in the town unless we ask for it. We have the authority to be in the village.
So then I'm asking the same thing.
So there's a different
situation.
situation.
Did we request that the town come in and back us up?
I can tell you that when there's the procedure is as follows. When you do not have a car on duty, okay, your calls roll over to the town police department, and that's the way it was set up. It's also the legal obligation of the town police department to respond to any village in the town when they do not have cars on duty. The state police may, we shall, okay? So that's where it comes from. If you have 1 car on duty and you have a level 2 call, which requires more than 1 officer response, that call is summoned to the town as well. You don't send 1 cop into a bar fight, okay? So that's where these are coming from. That's the type of calls. The information that I've provided you is everything that this department can provide. It was a 6-month thing as of June. I sent you a letter. I gave you a breakdown of all the calls last year based on my predecessor's system that he had in place of every single type of call that the town officers responded to. And a lot of them were medical emergency calls because my officers are also EMTs. Okay? I've given the information to you that I can to prove the point. The point is this. The B-Fund people are paying for this police department. Okay? Regardless of the situation, that's the situation. This all came about, Dennis, at a meeting in your village over a year and a half ago. Because I went there with the former supervisor and Joan Bucksmith, and your chief was there, and I presented to your board a concept of a shared police department. And at the end of the meeting, when you were deputy mayor, one of your elected officials made the statement, we know this is an eventuality. So this is what we get from everybody. This is an eventuality, but everybody's got their own timeline. I get asked about this 3 days a week. What are you doing about consolidation? Okay, it's not my thing. I tell these people, it's not up to us. But what did the one elected official, wait, no, let me finish, because what did the one elected official say when we were done? He said, we really like it the way things are now. Eventually we're going to have 1 department, but besides, when we go off duty at 11 o'clock, your guys handle the calls for us.
Okay.
I walked out of the room, I said to the supervisor, I said, listen, I come from a city police department, I don't have to deal with this stuff. I don't know if that's right. I think you need some kind of an agreement because the residents of the village of Maybrook aren't paying for that service. And that's what started this whole thing. And then that was a dialogue that's been going on for a year and a half to try to get this rectified. Nobody sits and talks. This is the first conversation you and I have had about this. I've met with your chief. I've tried to met with Steve and Ron and these guys. It all comes back to me. But nobody's discussing this. The only people that want to talk about it is the village of Walden.
Well, I'm going to give you a little, let's go a little further, okay? Because you and I did have conversations. And I also told you at the time I wasn't the mayor at the time. And I told you that I had plans in the village of what I was doing. And that I wasn't against consolidation. But at that time, I wasn't ready to hand it over to the residents. And the residents will be the ones that are going to decide on it.
I understand that, but Dennis, do you understand that we, before we get to that point?
Butch, let me finish.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I met with Supervisor Hayes in June of this year, and we had a discussion, and he said when the assessment time came, he was going to meet with me. Now, I hear at the budget, we're getting assessed. I have not heard any hard numbers yet. So now, I want to know what I'm getting billed for. And that's why I'm here right now. And to be quite honest with you, I have a meeting. I really don't want to come out here and have to do this because I don't think this is the forum for me to have to do this. He's a town supervisor and I'm the mayor of the village. I can sit down with him and I'm meeting with him tomorrow and we're going to discuss this. And we're going to find out where we're going with this. Because I need to know. Because in order for me to say yes to paying a bill, I need to know what it is because I got to protect my residents. And that's what I'm going to do.
I understand that, Dennis, and I don't care what you do any more than I care what Steve Brescia in the Village of Montgomery does. I'm not out here professing that this consolidation thing is the cover-all, end-all to everybody, okay? I'm certainly not. And by the way, I benefit nothing personally or professionally by it, okay? I answer to 5 elected officials now. I don't really care to answer to 22, okay? But I'm the one that was expected to address this issue along with other issues that a full-time chief is supposed to address, okay? I can only provide the information to these people and ask them to move on this, okay?
And I understand
and that's it.
That's why
I have
Dennis, let him finish now.
Okay.
You guys can't keep,
talking to the
Dennis,
supervisor.
you can't keep interrupting one another.
Because-
Let him finish now.
Because what I have done is try to rectify this, okay? I've tried to rectify it through the channels that I have. I answer to a board, okay? I've tried to rectify this because I say, hey, listen, okay? First it was interoperable communications with the Village of Walden, okay? Went around, everybody seemed to support that. Makes sense. Cops are all in the same town, want to know what each other's doing, right? Okay? As far as the airport response that Mayor Brescia brought up, his officers responded. I was there. They were never called. Village units respond to calls in the town when they are not summoned under mutual aid. That's a problem for the villages, not for me. Okay? That's another issue. Okay? And it happens more than once. As far as numbers and this and that, there's a lot of misconception about a lot of numbers because I've been asked to put a lot of things on paper that have been looked at and then nothing seems to be done with it. Because people aren't having a dialogue and talking about this and trying to get it worked out. Bottom line is, where we are now, keep what you got. Hire a 4th cop. Have intermunicipal agreements, and everybody's happy. It doesn't matter. But something's got to be done. Because everybody's out there, willy-nilly, you know, and there's not a whole lot, you know, done as far as any coordination or anything like that. And if what comes out of that comes out of it. But it should have never come to this point, okay? This has been going on for a year and a half. And here we are at the budget, and everybody's concerned about an assessment. And nobody even wants to sit down and have a presentation or talk about it or come up with something and come to agreement. We're all supposed to be professionals.
I called the supervisor,
You know?
and
So-
the village clerk made an appointment, and I'm meeting with him tomorrow.
You know? Well, and here we are tonight to talk about an assessment. So
I heard about it at your last meeting. I
You
heard
know?
about your last meeting, it was coming up. I made my phone call.
I understand. All I'm saying is you got to, you know, I have a responsibility too, okay? And the responsibility is to the people to try to do the right thing and to make
And I
things
also
right.
know who that you answer to, and you answer to the town supervisor, and therefore, I don't need to go and speak to you directly. I'll speak to the town supervisor, and which I'm doing.
Okay.
And if he wants to bring you along, that's fine.
But I'm not responsible, personally responsible for working this issue out. I'm the police chief.
I know you're not.
Okay,
That's why
you
it's
know.
not, for me to go and discuss this with you, Butch, it's really between me and the supervisor. And I
It
understand that.
absolutely is. I don't care if the number's $1. I don't care if it's 50,000. I don't care what it is. My budget's my budget, and I have no vested interest in this. But I get bombarded daily about this issue, and it's been going on for a year. And I'm sick of talking about the C word, frankly. Okay, consolidation. Okay.
I know you get bombarded, but I get bombarded just as much.
I understand that.
Because I've got people going around saying that I'm not for consolidation and don't even ask me what my opinion
Well,
is.
you and
So,
I.
you know, when people want to know things, they can come ask me anytime they
Well,
want.
it
And
should-
I'm very
we-
forthcoming with the information. I have nothing to hide. I've already made myself clear on what my agenda was. My agenda was to come in with this police department, and I made some changes. I added a 3rd full-timer. I wanted to see if I could do things within. I spoke to you about that. And I spoke to Supervisor Hayes about it as well. So I am very forthcoming with the information. I'm not hiding anything, and I'm not waiting for anything. I'm just hearing we're being assessed. I just want to know how it came about, that's all. And I did set up a meeting, and I'm meeting with the supervisor tomorrow afternoon. And I'm going to find out what's going on. That's all I can say at this time. You know, I'm sorry that it gets to this, and to be honest with you, I really didn't want to have to come here tonight because I feel like I should be able to do this between myself and the supervisor and sit down at a table. But I'm also hearing that there's other things going on, other issues as far as with the libraries and money and stuff like this. And I don't want to put you on the spot, Supervisor, but you know what? In the future, I would ask that you meet with the villages and ask us to sit down with you and decide, you know, if we ask us what we need going into it. That's all I'm going to ask for.
Good idea.